Hey there, welcome to Hiker Homily. I think we're up to number 65 now. Hmm. And a little bit different, although I'm kind of starting out here in one of the usual places I shoot a Hiker Homily. We're going to be shooting quite a bit of this one in the kitchen because I've seen some discussion here and there, especially online with the online hikers, talking about different types of snacks and things that are available for hiking and things, and how expensive some of them can be. And it's very true. Sometimes some of the better types of snacks that are really good to have with you um, are expensive considering what you get. And one of those things is beef jerky, or really any kind of jerky. But typically it's beef jerky and stuff. And beef jerky is a great snack for hiking. You've got that meat protein going on. It comes in various flavors and stuff like that. But the problem is it can be fairly cost prohibitive for a small bag of it. Can cost you a bit. But beef jerky is one of those things that if you can find the resources and you've got the time and the ability, you can make it yourself. And so that's what we're going to do for Hiker Homily number 65. Is I'll show you a very simple way to make your own beef jerky. Real easy stuff. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to find, if you have the skill, you can get yourself a decent bottom round of beef or whatever and cut it very thinly. Uh, um, I do not necessarily have a butcher skill and things like that, and I would rather leave that to the professionals. And so, if you can find, and I'll put it up there, um, if you can find a cut of beef that is cut for something like either stir fry, or sometimes they'll call it fajitas or things like that. I know some people say, well, you just go to a deli and have them slice you some roast beef. That's not quite the same when you try to jerky that. You're going to need actual steak that's not cut that thin. It needs to be cut thin, but not so thin that it's deli slice for sandwiches. So I was able to find this. It's called stir fry sliced beef, and it is bottom round cut. And you get a hold of that, and the first thing you want to do, as you can see as I'm putting up the pictures and things like that, is you're going to get it in a container, and you're going to set it down, layer it on the bottom, pour over whatever flavor or type of marinade you want. And this is really the cool thing about when you're doing it at home is you can kind of do whatever you want. If there's a specific type of marinade, including if you want to make your own marinade or barbecue sauce or something like that, you pour it on there, you put the next layer down, pour it on until you've got your little container full of the beef you're going to be using, and it's marinated. And it's really cool because, like I say, you've got flavors. The one I'm using here, I'm not going to give you the brand name because I'm not an advertiser. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. But I am doing teriyaki this time because my whole family enjoys that as a snack. And this is a good snack, high protein, really good for hikers, people who are running, or any other kind of active lifestyle. You want a quick snack with some protein in it. Beef jerky is a good one. And like I've said before, doing it at home, you can pick your favorite flavors. There's whole things of marinade and sauces and stuff that you could just have this soak in and stuff. So once you've got it in your container, you're gonna seal that up. You're gonna put it in your refrigerator. It should marinate for a minimum of 3 hours. Give it at least 3 hours soaking in that marinade. If you can let it go overnight, that's fantastic. And that's what I've done. I got that together yesterday, got it in there probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I just let it go. So here we are the next morning, and the next thing I'm going to do is get it out there, and I'm going to arrange it on its racks. So let's go take care of that, shall we? So here we've got our beef that's been marinating overnight. Got myself a nice baking sheet with an edge. I'm going to put the wire rack down on it like that, because that's going to let things seep. But the first thing I'm going to do is I want to line this with tin foil, because that's going to make the cleanup so much easier. So there we go. Lined with tin foil. That's nice, because once all these drippings are dripping down, that'll be easy to clean up. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is I'm going to take some paper towels. You're going to bring out your meat. Boy, did that not sound right. You're going to put it down on the paper towel, give it a quick dry. You don't want everything to be soaked when it goes down. So, kind of give it a quick pat dry like that. And then, excuse me, and then you're going to lay it down single layered on the sheet. And you're just going to keep doing this until you have filled out the sheet, or you are out of meat, whichever comes first. And if you have multiple baking sheets and the room in the old oven to do it, then do multiples. If you run out of room on the rack before you run out of meat, well, then you're just going to do 2 batches. It's going to be time consuming. We're going to talk about time in a minute. Because as I've said, this is one of those ones that, yeah, you can do it yourself, but it's going to take a little time, because a minimum of 3 hours to marinate, and these were in all night, as I said. So they've been marinating all night long, and then when we put them in, it's going to be for a considerable amount of time. So we're going to get this all filled. Alright, so we've got our strips of beef set up. I have some left over, so I'm going to recap that. I'm going to put it back in the refrigerator, because what happens now, that's what I have room for, is I've got my oven preheated to 175. If you didn't catch that the first time, 175. I'm going to put this in. There we go. Slide it in there. 175. And that is going to be in there for a minimum of 3 hours. 3 hours. That's the kind of thing it takes. So we're going to check it in 3 hours. So, funny story, subscribers. There's my beef jerky I've been working on. Now, some of you may think that's not very much beef jerky. Well, we had about 2/3 more than that. We also have a teenage son in the house. Some of you may know what that means. Those of you who do not, let me enlighten you. It means food does not last very long when it's out on the counter. My son decided, he cast his vote and decided that he likes the teriyaki beef jerky, and ate most of it already from the first batch. So, there we go. As you saw in the other section there, pretty simple to make. Beef jerky is not bad if you get the right cut. You can marinate it in almost anything you can think of you want to marinate it in, and it's pretty simple. And as far as the cost ratio, I haven't done any kind of real math on it, but I really do think if you do it yourself, getting your own flavors, you end up with it being a little cheaper than what you might get in the store, because you're not getting the thing. The only thing you have to be careful of, because again, I'm not some kind of professional food processor or anything like that, is when you do it yourself, you got to make sure you're getting everything to the right temperature. And this is not the kind of beef jerky that you can just have sitting around for a long time like maybe the processed stuff you can. This is the kind of thing you might want to do this and before you've got a trip or something like that. That way you know you're going to be eating it within a couple of days of it being made. You don't want to have it sitting around for a long time. Other than that, making beef jerky at home is fun. The biggest thing is the time consuming, with a minimum of 3 hours marinating, and then about 3 hours of it in the oven getting to its consistency. You're talking 6 to 7 hours there, minimum of that kind of thing. But I mean, you're able to do other things. You don't have to sit there and watch it bake in the oven. But yeah, so it's time consuming but fun to do. And hey, I hope you like this different version of Hiker Homily. We'll see you next time.